today we are taking notes on poetry. I would write today's date. It's June 20th. Almost at the end of the year.
Can you write a name?
Yeah, write your name. I would also label your notes poetry. So that when we go back to look at our notes and we have to look up something about poetry, we know right where to go. Alright, so everybody's ready? So today the first thing I want to do is go over our lesson goals. Our objective. So by the end of this lesson, you guys will be able to analyze and determine different poetic devices such as alliteration, repetition, assonance, and consonants.
What are assonance?
We're going to go over it. That's what we're going to do in the lesson. So by the end of the lesson, you should know what all of these words mean, Ariel. Alliteration. So these are all the words that we're going to go over today. Maxie.
Alliteration sounds like a little bit of alliteration.
Yeah, kind of.
Alliter.
And we're also going to have an essential question, which is the question that's kind of guiding where our learning is going. So our two questions: what is the purpose of all of these poetic devices, and why do we even have these? What purpose do they serve? And what effect do they have on the reader? So these are something, what's your question? These are what we're going to work through throughout the lesson, and hopefully by the end we'll be able to answer these. Sabrina?
Are we going to write that down on our piece of paper?
You don't have to. That's just something that we're keeping in the back of our mind. So what is a poem? Remember, when we take notes, we don't write down every word. We just write down what is the most important thing in what we're talking about. So a poem is a collection of a poet's thoughts, what they are thinking. So for that, I might write down poem. It's a collection of thoughts. Poems use images, so what we see, or the picture that appears in our mind as we read, the sounds we hear, the beat of the rhythm, and the ideas, or the point the poet is trying to make. So for that, I might write images, sounds, ideas. Sabrina?
Can we write things that don't really have to do with what that says, but write things that you know about poetry?
You could. I would say for now, stick to what we're talking about. If there's something that you want to add, you say, you know what, I think that poetry might be about this. And if that helps you, I would write that down. Alex?
It could be like, it could be an idea of thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Good, Alex. So poetry can be an idea or thoughts. Ariella?
Put down imagination.
Yeah, imagination. That's a really good idea. So poems involve all of those things. You guys ready to move on?
No, not yet. No,
Okay.
I'm ready.
Maxie?
I think poems usually there are different types of poems. Like
Yeah, exactly.
there's a lot. I think like the Japanese have a lot of poems.
So that would be something that we can do on a whole nother lesson, is all the different forms and types of poems. Good. Arkady?
Do different kinds of poetry sometimes vary on how the writer is feeling?
Oh, definitely. It definitely speaks to how they're feeling. You know, you could be having a bad day and you could write a poem about how that day goes. You could, the opposite, you could have a great day and you could write a poem about how that's going. So definitely the writer's mood and attitude will affect the poetry.
So poetry, poet with attitudes too.
Yeah, that's a good thing to write. So he said a poet's attitude. Yeah, poet's attitude, the writer's feelings. Those are all good thoughts.
You don't have to write everything.
You don't have to write everything. We're just writing the most important points. So now I want to talk about what makes a poem different from other texts you may have read, whether it's a book, a magazine. The other type of text, we call that prose. So when it's different from poetry, we call it prose. Prose has words, phrases, sentences, paragraphs, and chapters. Again, you don't have to write all of this down, just the most important things. Sabrina?
If we don't know what to write, we have to write
No, that's okay. You're writing what's important to you, what's going to help you meet our objective.
Do we need to write the Do you need to write all those down?
No, you You don't have to. It's just whatever will help you understand the difference between prose and poetry.
Okay, no, but do you need to write the little dots and red flags? You go back.
No, only if you need that.
Okay.
Only if that helps you. I'll show them both together to help you guys. So here's back-to-back prose with poetry. So like I said, prose has word, phrases, sentences, paragraphs, and chapters, whereas poetry, what we're talking today, it has syllables. What's a syllable? Sabrina.
It's how many times you can clap in a word.
So let's think of the word dictionary. Maxine, how many syllables are in a dictionary? Oh, 5. Dictionary.
It's actually the
Four.
dictionary.
Dictionary.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah.
What about
Syllables?
the word?
Actually, they're not just how many times you can clap a word. There are actually multiple letters for syllables.
That
Like
can be like
A, B, B.
Arcadi, what about your name? How many syllables in your name?
Arcad. So
3. Yeah. So whereas prose has words, poetry has syllables. Whereas prose has phrases, which are groups of words. Poetry has feet. Poetry also has lines, stanzas, and cantos. Feet is just a measure of meter. That's something you're going to learn later when you go in more depth with poetry. Feet is kind of the build of how many syllables or how many beats per line. So all of these things kind of tie in together. Stanzas are just like paragraphs. So instead of there being paragraphs like you would see in prose, we have groups of words that are called stanzas. And cantos are chapters. Now again, you don't have to write everything down. This is what's going to help you understand. So we're going to move on. So now I just have, what do you guys think poetry is to you? Someone other than Sabrina. I want to hear from some other people over here. Kenya, what is poetry? What does it mean to you?
like seeing images in your brain.
Seeing images in your brain. Lisa?
Poetry also is like a song.
Could be a song, yeah.
Way to express your feelings.
Way to express your feelings. Alex, last one.
Poetry is like
Yeah. Poetry if you want to. All right, hold on to your thoughts. We can discuss that later.
Poetry is
It's okay. We'll. All
poetry is kind of like a colorful ball of clay you can like.
right, Mary. Last one.
Hey, that's what Mr. Jules said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary, did you want to add anything before you forget?
it's very interesting.
What?
Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I wanted to add something.
Okay, go ahead.
Poetry is a way to learn how to write a book.
It could be, yeah. So these are what some poets believe poetry to be. Poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotion, recollected in tranquility. Williams Wordsworth.
I don't William Shakespeare. So he was the first one.
And the last one. Poetry is the record of the best and happiest moments of the happiest and best minds. Percy B. Shelley. What do you guys think that means? Poetry is the record of the best and happiest moments of the happiest and best minds.
It's it's a way to express like how good things can happen to you.
How good things happen. Kind of goes again with what Arcadi was saying about a writer's attitude. So poetry is the record of the best and happiest moments of the happiest and best minds. So they're writing down, these great writers are writing down these great moments.
Poetry it connects with poetry as a way to express your feelings.
Exactly. Poetry is a way to express feelings. Sabrina.
Can you write your idea of poetry instead of writing the
Yeah, you don't have to write down.
that? Can you write down what you think?
Sure, yeah. I just pulled this up just so that you had an idea what some other poets thought poetry to be.
Oh, poetry's magic.
Yeah, it could be magical. So there are different elements of a poem. So poetry combines sounds, images, and even shapes to make a unique poem that speaks to you, the reader. What does unique mean? Someone other than Sabrina. I want to hear something over here. Mary? What does unique mean? If I say it's a very unique shirt you have on today. Beautiful. Issa, what do you think unique?
Amazing.
Amazing. Alex? Extreme. Ariella?
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Sabrina?
Something that's one of a kind that no one can copy.
Yeah, something that's one of a kind. So poetry combines sounds, images, and even shapes to make something that's one of a kind. No two poems are the same.
And no
They
one
may, yeah, no one can copy it. They may be similar.
There also be copyright though because of the law.
Yeah. So this is a poem. We're not going to read the poem. We're just looking at it. It's Easter Wings by George Herbert. If you look, the poem is about wings.
It's like a bat.
Yeah, what does it look like? A bat.
Bats with wings.
It looks like wings. So poems can take all different shapes.
Looks like General Grievous.
So that would be an example of a unique poem that takes the shape of what it's talking about. You could write a poem about baseball and write it in the shape of a baseball.
Bats.
Yeah. There's all different things that you can do with poetry. Yeah, you could write something about spring or flowers and write it in the shape of a
But
flower.
then they would know where to start and where to go next.
They could, you'd have to see. So sounds. Poetry needs to be read out loud. Poetry sounds so different when you hear it out loud. Yeah, it's very much like music. Poetry comes from the ancient tradition of storytelling and song. That's where poetry originated. And rhyme helps the storytellers remember the poems. Why do you think that? Why do you think rhyme would help them remember? Kenya.
Oh,
Why would rhyme help the storytellers remember?
because it has a riddle, like a riddle, something.
Say it a little louder so everyone
Yeah,
can hear you.
something like a riddle.
Maybe it's like a riddle. Elias, rhyme. How would it help?
Because the words, but usually if you're doing rhyming, the words are very similar.
The words are similar. You might remember them. What else, Daxie?
Sometimes you can make like shapes to express your emotions by a character. Maybe it's winter and it may be on the shape of a
Yeah.
snowflake.
Think about a nursery rhyme. Who can think of a nursery rhyme? Arcadi.
The little lady lived in the
That's
show.
what I was gonna say.
Does that rhyme? Arcadi, is that rhyme?
Yeah, kind of.
Why do you guys remember that?
Because I've heard it so many times.
You've heard it so many times. Why else though?
I kind of memorized it from a book I read, and also kind of, because it rhymes.
It rhymes. So
Kind
when
of
it rhymes,
remember.
doesn't it sound like a little song? It's sing-songy. I'm thinking of Humpty Dumpty sat in the wall. Humpty
Yeah, I
Dumpty
love
had a
that.
great fall.
Yeah, I love that one.
It's catchy. You hear it and it kind of has like a little bounce to
What
it.
did you say?
It's catchy. Humpty Dumpty?
Humpty Dumpty. My mom uses it every day.
Yeah, because it's easy to remember because it sounds like a song and you want to sing along to it.
Poetry. My mom
It's
sings
poetry,
songs
so
every
that's
day.
how these storytellers would pass
What a
these
jam.
stories on. It's because the rhyming would help them remember. Good. You guys have any questions so far?
I have a book at my house that's all about poetry.
Cool, you should definitely read it.
Humpty Dumpty and Patrick on.
That's great. Do you guys have any questions so far?
There's another nursery rhyme. It's like Betsy Stacker.
Sally,
5 times.
Sally, seashells.
All right, let's bring it back. Alex?
It's actually a side rhyme.
All right, let's give your classmate an opportunity to speak.
If you listen like a poetry or some say words, some my teachers say that was a word onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia, yeah. It's a really good example. So as we read, listen for words that rhyme. They're going to help you remember. A rhythm that you can tap your finger to, like music, like we were saying with Humpty Dumpty. Words that imitate sounds around you, so like snap, pop, bam. Those are going to help you remember. Letter sounds that repeat, like Sally sells seashells.
Oh, I love that one.
Stay focused. So Sally sells seashells.
I just said.
What letter is repeating? Someone raise their hand and tell me. Elias.
The C, the S.
The S, yeah, good. So these are all things that we want to keep in mind as we're reading. Look for rhythm, rhyme. Words know what rhyme is. There's also exact rhyme, which are words that have the exact same sounding ending. So like cat and hat. Lisa?
Cat, hat, rat.
Control your body. Cat and hat. They rhyme.
Cat, hat, rat.
Rat. Good. Alex, can you give me another example of two words?
cat,
Mary.
rat, cat, rat.
Mary, it's Alex's turn to speak. Alex, can you give me an example of two words that rhyme?
Bat, cat, bat.
Bat and cat. Sabrina.
Me, and she.
Me, he, and she. Good. Mary.
Shifting your chair up and down.
Mary, your classmates ask you to control your body. So, we also have rhyme scheme.
Maybe you could scooch over.
Mary, sit up in your chair and I'll ask you to leave. A rhyme scheme is a pattern of rhyming words. So just like you said, we saw words that rhyme in poetry, there can be a pattern of how these words are rhyming. So roses are red, violets are blue, the rest of the jingle is up to you. What two words rhyme? Max. Matching tax is good, but what words in this specific line rhymes? Roses are red, violets are blue, the rest of the jingle is up to you. What two words rhyme? Elias?
Blue and you.
Blue and you, good. Ariella, can you read this poem? Since you're closest, you can see.
Last night I had the sneezes. I was very
Oh, hold on,
ill.
Ariella. You guys be quiet, your classmate's reading, and it's rude to disrespect her.
My mother called the doctor who prescribed a purple pill. At 8 o'clock I went to bed. My mom turned out the light. I used up one whole box of Kleenex sneezing through the night. I sneezed my brains out in my bed. I didn't get much rest. So that's the reason teacher said I flunked spelling test.
Good, thank you. What words did you guys see that rhyme? I know it's a little hard to see because we're limited on space. Sabrina? Ill and pill. Elias?
Rest and test.
Rest and test. Any more? Let's see if we can find two more words that rhyme. Issa, you're close. Can you see two that rhyme? See those two? Bed and night. Do bed and night rhyme?
No.
No. Light and night. Good. Excellent. Next thing we're going to talk about are some more poetic devices. Kenya?
Flight to night.
Flight and night would also rhyme. Next one we're going to talk about is repetition. Thank you. Repetition is simple repeating of a word or phrase, often to help the writer express a particular theme or idea. So we're going to look at the poem every night, everywhere, and we're going to notice where the repetition is. This is a little hard to see. I'll read this one for you guys. We share this pocket watch moon hanging from a chain of stars. We are children of Africa, Asia, South America, North America, Europe, Australia, and we share this pocket watch moon, invisibly holding hands across dirt and ocean and language. We look up to read its face, we look down to see its smile, reflected in our streams and ponds. We are children who will never meet, but we share this pocket watch moon, this brightness, this hope. Did you hear any words repeat?
Yep.
What?
Children.
Children, did you see any phrases?
Pocket watch.
This pocket watch moon. It repeats. Why would we repeat something in a poem? Maxie?
Because it's the main thing, probably.
It's the main thing. Maybe it's the thing that we want to emphasize. Good. Let's keep going. The other one is alliteration. No one of you asked what was alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of the beginning word sounds over and over like a tongue twister. So earlier we talked about Sally sells seashells by the seashore. That's an example of repetition. Or not repetition, alliteration. Pause. My beautiful bubble bursts and then I simply blow some more again. Where is the alliteration? Issa, what letter is repeating? Issa. So what is repeating? What letter? What letter sound? In my beautiful bubble burst, and then I simply blow some more again. What letter? Issa. What letter specifically? My beautiful bubble burst. What sound? But what letter is repeating? So we have my beautiful bubble burst. Yeah, the B. Green narcotics. The setting sun slips slowly down, making room for the milky moon. Max.
S
S.
and M. S and M.
And what about making room for the milky moon? Sabrine. The N sound. Good. Our next one is consonants, and we're almost to the end of the lesson. Consonants is the repetition of the same or similar consonant sounds. What's a consonant? Sabrine.
A word with a sound that isn't A-E-I-O-U-Y.
That isn't a vowel.
Yes.
So consonant are all the letters that aren't vowels. So like B, C, D. So consonants is the repetition of the same or similar consonant sounds. So an example would be tick-tock or sing-song. Can you go back? Yeah, you got that? Same, just consonant sound. So think of consonants, consonant. They sound the same. So that's how you remember it's the consonant sound that's repeating. Are you guys okay to move on?
Yes. No, not yet.
Can you have bloody nose? You may go to the bathroom.
Wait, I got
Remember, we're not writing every single word down. Can you just go outside to the bathroom?
Here. Don't
I
move
think Kenny is okay.
okay.
So remember, we're not writing everything. We're
Kenya, do
just
this.
writing the most.
Kenya.
Yeah, Kenya, pinch.
Kind of like this.
Kenya, pinch the top of your nose.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
that's perfect.
And keep it like that.
We're just writing what's most important.
Yeah.
Tilt your head forward.
You get it when your
No.
nose is really dry.
I've never gotten those school.
You guys did an awesome job. All right, moving on. Assonance. So consonants is the repetition of consonant sounds. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds, followed by similar consonant sounds. What are our vowels? A, A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes
Y.
sometimes Y.
Like
And sometimes W. Yeah, sometimes W. In the word cow.
So assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds, followed by a similar consonant sound. Just write it's the repetition of vowel sounds.
you know I have 6 names in my vowel. So was my name. Everybody. First name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really weird.
So an example of assonance, the repetition of vowel sounds, is from The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary. Do you hear it? This is why poetry has to be read out loud.
Once
Do you
upon
hear
a
it?
midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary.
Do you hear it?
We can win, yeah.
Do you hear the EA sound? The EAR sound?
There's a double
Alex, can you sit right in your chair?
We can wear them.
Sabrina, you also sit?
W-E-A.
We're looking for the vowel sound, so it would be the E.
Like copy. They use W-E-A twice. W-E-A.
But it can't just be that sounds are repeating. It has to be that the vowel sounds together as a pair. So hold your question for one second. Because look, there's an O here, there's an O here, but that doesn't mean that's a repetition of a vowel. It's just, there's going to be vowels everywhere. You have to have a vowel in the word. What we're looking for is that pair together. So we have this pair of that EA, the EA, the EA. Here we have a bigger pair. We have eerie, dreary, weary. So it's that combination of all of them.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, you're gonna go. Thank you. you guys do is write your own poem based on a poetic device, but we're running out of time, so we're gonna go to our last activity. So we're gonna skip to write our own poetry, and we're gonna have time again to write our own poetry another
So
time.
we can write our poetry tomorrow?
Yeah, we could definitely do that tomorrow.
But tomorrow's the weekend.
Oh, you're right, today's Friday, so Monday.
But I'm not here on Monday.
So we can write it next year.
Maybe write it on your weekend. Okay.
How do I write it?
Where's Ella?
All right, so we will finish our last activity, and then we are all done. Alex, can you please sit? Okay, that's fine. You can hold on to it. These notes are for you. Okay. Okay, that's fine. This activity will only take a few minutes, and we are just checking for your understanding. It is almost time for lunch, so we're going to do this activity quickly. So like I said, our lesson goal is that you guys will be able to analyze and determine different poetic devices. You can hold on to it. We talked about alliteration, repetition, assonance, and consonants. Now what we're going to do is you guys are going to work in groups. So the three of you will work together. Elias, Issa, and Ariella. The three of you will work together right here. And the three of you will work together.
Do we put our names? What about Alex? What about Alex?
Alex is fine. So your directions.
I didn't get one.
The three of you are working together, so you all are going to be sharing one seat. So you all have the same directions, which is to determine, guys, I'll wait. I'll wait. Determine which poetic device this poem uses. So you're going to read your poem as a group. You can pick one designated reader. You guys can take turns. And you're going to determine whether it uses rhyme, repetition, alliteration, assonance, consonants, or more than one. So what if you need to?
But where do you put the answer?
You can just circle it. Circle which one is the best answer, and if there's more than one, you can circle more than one. So you guys will be reading as a group.
It's just we're taking turns.
Yeah,
You can't just get upset, man. I'm not getting upset.
Okay, come on, Issa. Did you guys read that as a group? Mary? Mary?
This is like reading.
Why don't you guys,
You're mean.
I'm not greedy. I never said I
Mary?
wanted money.
Mary, why don't you guys take turns reading? Each of you can read maybe every other line. Okay.
I want
Maxie.
I'm filming.
Maxie. Why don't you guys take Alex. Okay, so then please. Alright, so then Mary, please be generous and give me the opportunity to read. And you also need to listen for in this group. So you guys are reading this together and deciding whether it's rhyme, repetition, alliteration, assonance, or consonant.
Let's stop there. Let's stop there. Just do what's there.
You don't know. It's your turn.
I think I should know what I'm saying.
You guys told you.
Yeah, but they use alliteration.
Alright, so again, so after reading this and deciding whether it's rhyme, repetition, alliteration, assonance, consonants, or more than one. So Mary, you guys need to read this as a group and decide which one it is.
Gives his
I love the way Sabrine is taking notes on the paper.
hardest spell to shake. Where's her ask if there's some mistake. Does it ever
Does it use a double?
I'm not reading it all.
No. You're not supposed to.
When you're ready, once you've decided, flip your paper over to let me know that you are all
Where's
done.
repetition? Where's repetition?
The volume is too loud in here that you can't hear my directions. When you guys are all finished with your activity, Maxie, you flip it over to let me know that you are done. Thank you, Sabrine.
We're done.
Do you want to hear it?
It's done.
Great, so then you guys can sit quietly and wait for everyone else to finish.
Gives me harness doesn't shake to give there is some mistake. The only other sound that's usually the woods are very dark and deep, but I promise to keep, and mine is to go before I sleep, and mine to go before I sleep.
Alright, so what do you guys think? What do we have?
This we got
Mary?
no, those two.
You are part of it.
They're two. No, they're like,
Can't hear, move your chair so that you can hear.
these are the same things.
Okay.
So there's a rhyme. Deep
So
and
if it's the
deep.
same, if
Deep
you,
and
if we have the same words, okay? If we have the same words,
Sentence.
what would it be?
consent.
We have the same words. Is it rhyme, repetition, alliteration?
Repetition.
I'll circle that one.
And
What
also
else?
we found a rhyme.
Circle rhyme
We
then.
found keep and sleep.
We have some rhymes. Circle that.
Okay, what else?
And inflate and shake.
Like and shake.
Seems like everybody is just about done. Isa, can you read your poem to us?
Finding frogs. Ferdinand Frog found flopping flea flicking cheerfully.
Talking teeth.
Flocking cheerfully. What is this that I see? Frogs don't get fleas. This should never happen to me. Flee, little flea, be away with flea. We'll see, said the flea, sitting on the frog's knee. If first you'll do something for me. What? Asked the frog. Could I possibly do for three? Well, for three. Well, said the flea, go find me a dog or a big bellied hog. Yes, there I might live quite happily.
Good. And what did you guys find? What poetic devices are being
We
used?
found alliteration and rhymes and a
Yeah.
repetition.
You guys also circled assonance. Why? Where do you see an example of assonance?
Oh.
No, it's correct. Where do you see that? Remember, assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds.
I never said I found
Well, look, you do have it. E-E. E-E.
Oh,
E-E,
yes.
E-E. Good. All right, you're good. Good job. Thank you very much for sharing.
We use that. Okay.
No, you guys have to just take a seat.
Out, out by Robert Frost.
Take a seat.
The buzz snarled and rattled in the yard and made dust and dropped sticks of wood, sweet scented stuff when breeze blew across it, and from there that lifted ours to count. So we found more than one. We found
All right, why don't you take a turn to speak?
we found consonants and assonants.
Okay.
E-S and A-R.
Good. Good job. All right, Max, you read your poem.
He gives his heart and spells a shake, and to ask if there's some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have a promise to keep. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. There's rhymes and repetition.
Good. Rhyme and repetition. So do you guys think we met our objective today?
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay. You're gonna go. Thank you. We're over for now.
Run, repetition all over.
So, what I was going to have you guys do is write your own poem based on a poetic device, but we're running out of time, so we're going to go to our last activity. So we're going to skip to write our own poetry, and we're going to have time again to write our own poetry another
So we
time.
can write our poetry tomorrow?
Yeah, we could definitely do that tomorrow.
But tomorrow's a weekend.
Oh, you're right, today's Friday, so Monday.
But I'm not here on Monday.
So you can write it next year.
Maybe write it on your weekend. Okay.
How do I do it? Where's Ella?
All right, so we will finish our last activity, and then we are all done. Alex, can you please sit? Okay, that's fine. You can hold on to it. These notes are for you. Okay, that's fine. This activity will only take a few minutes, and we are just checking for your understanding. activity quickly. So like I said, our lesson goal is that you guys will be able to analyze and determine different poetic devices. You can hold on to it. We talked about alliteration, repetition, assonance, and consonants. Now what we're going to do is you guys are going to work in groups. So the three of you will work together. Elias, Isa, and Ariella. The three of you will work together right here. And the three of you will work together.
Do we put our name? What about Alex? What about Alex?
Alex is fine. So your directions.
I didn't get one.
The three of you are working together, so you all are going to be sharing one seat. So you all have the same directions, which is to determine, guys, I'll wait. I'll wait. Determine which poetic device this poem uses. So you're going to read your poem as a group. You can pick one designated reader, you guys can take turns. And then you're going to determine whether it uses rhyme, repetition, alliteration, assonance, consonants, or more than one. So what if you need to put?
Where do you put the answer?
You can just circle it. Circle which one is the best answer, and if there's more than one, you can circle more than one.